Alrighty guys, it's been a couple of days. I am under the weather. Oh, I'm under the weather in a bad way. But we're still making it. So, I don't feel very good. But I feel good enough to be out here. I'm trying to sit on a shop vac. You know, it's just not working. Anyway, that's our factory bolt, which as you saw, not going to work for our Holley valve covers. Now, being the great epic mechanic that I am, I didn't take the bolt with me. So, thanks to some Googlage, I knew what size, pitch, etc. that I did need. But, see, these Pontiac factory bolts are a little bit weird. They are a 7/16 for the hex head, and I can't remember the other size and pitch. Regardless, they're of course thread. So that part wasn't hard to find. But what I did find out is these suckers are remarkably difficult to find. Most of the ones, when you buy it, I mean, you can get the pitch and everything and thread and all that, right? But you usually end up with a 1/2 inch, which is what we got for a hex head. So, but, you know, I did get them right. The threads match up. But there'll be a more common 1/2 inch hex head. Doesn't really matter, but apparently Pontiac guys know. So, whatever. I bought 2 different sizes. One very long one. Let me hold these up a little bit better. One very long one when compared to original. There we go. But it actually looks like this shorter one will do me just fine, I think. Let's go ahead and toss it in one of those other valve covers. Ow! So I don't want to go too far into this whole cylinder head. So I'm going to check the old bolt and how far it went through the valve cover, which is about yay. So I'll leave that in there for a minute. And let's check our Holley. And we've got about yay. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to hold these up where you can see both. Hang on. Bear with me. Get all the way down. Yay. And yay. About the same. So, oops. Good thing about 2 different sizes, and we got what appears to be the right one. Oh, mother of Troy. It's rainy. I'm sitting on the shop vac again. Weather makes my legs not happy. This is terrible. Oh. Zero Ultra. How do you go Ultra in the zeros? I mean, zero sugar, yeah. All right, maximum effort. Let's get this leap done. One thing we went over before was that we were not particularly impressed with these gaskets from Mr. Gasket. Obviously ripped, but just look at the gasket, look at the material. Okay. Brand new gaskets. Ordered them through O'Reilly. Took a couple days to get here, or no, it took 1 day. I ordered them in the evening. It took 1 day for them to get to O'Reilly's. I'm trying not to lose this stuff. I want to show you that these were within $3 of each other. And look at this. Now, not only did it not break coming out of the package like the other one did, this package was nice and easy to open, no issues. These seem like a lot tougher of a gasket. Holding this one up in the middle, holding this one up in the middle. Much flimsier material, much thicker. Flimsy, the flop, thicker. And I like this little seal they've got going around here. I like it. Edelbrock, good job. Mr. Gasket, you've lost my business, sir. Good day. Alrighty, there's valve cover 1 with its beautiful brand new grade 8 brackets on there. Our intake, which I did see has a slight hint, you can't really see it on the camera, of Pontiac blue still on it underneath all that grime. Our 2-barrel, and look, it even has one of these. Never actually seen those on a vehicle, and it looks like it functions, so that's kind of a shame. Then we get over to this valve cover. So this will actually be the last thing we do, one of the last things, because this obnoxious air conditioning bracket hooks to the manifold, so they got to come out anyway, but it's going to be a lot easier to do that valve cover with all of it out. So I thought valve covers would be first, manifold would be last, but looking like manifold first. This is going to be one heck of an engine transformation as far as looks go, and hopefully some performance. Let's get into it. I guess I should say that these valve cover bolts I picked up are grade 8 and not very expensive. And whenever I go pick up bolts, I always pick up like double. Because I know I'm probably going to need that size again sometime in my future, and I'm not going to have it. And usually, so I picked up 4 more of these, but I also picked up 4 nuts with them and extra washers. Do I need those? Not right now, but someday. Eventually, I'll probably have a giant bolt bin nest that I'll have to pass on to the grandkids, and they'll be like, what do I do with this? Because everything will be metric by then. But you know what? Until that day comes, here we go. So all I did was get these valve cover bolts started, and I tightened them down a little bit, but I don't want to like fully seat that gasket or anything else until I know I can actually get this intake manifold off without taking these valve covers off. Now the reason I say that is because that flange looks like it is got a little bit more of a lip than the factory valve cover. And just in case I can't get the intake off, I don't want to pull the valve covers. So now this other valve cover we aren't going to mess with yet. Look at that. That is a steel fuel line running all the way down to the fuel pump. A factory from 19... Wow. That's so cool. If I turn the key, it actually... Bloop. I mean, just look at some of this stuff. I don't know what this is. It's obviously some sort of a sensor. Not a clue. That's a factory little wraparound metal clamp thing. Man. Man. This is just like something at a time. No HEI upgrade. I mean, it's like this Pontiac came out of a frickin' time capsule. Oh, man. Say everything we're doing at this point though, we have so many projects, we gotta save money where we can. So this original clamp, anything else on here that we can reuse, we're going to reuse. anything. Bolts, if they're in good shape, we can clean them up. Anything we can clean up, anything we can repurpose. I mean, even if we don't use it on here again, doesn't mean we're never going to use it. For all I know, this intake and carb can end up on the next Pontiac. How do I know there'll be a next Pontiac? Are you kidding? I've come up like 3 vehicles in 2 weeks. It's bad. I'll have to like fence in the yard to keep the city off me. Oh, okay, Betsy. You're not planning on letting go, are you, little radiator hose? But you're in remarkably good shape. I don't want to kill you. We can be friends. Hulk strength. Oh my God, it moved. Oh. Oh, come on. Come on, friend. Okay. I'm taking off the hat. That means I'm getting serious. One way or another. Are you serious? You're just gonna come off like that after all that? Wow, you haven't ran in a long time. I do actually have a new thermostat to put in it. This is only a 185. I'm not really sure how warm they usually run. This one's for a small block Chevy, but it fits the intake manifold, so maybe we'll use it. I am in dire need of a lighting upgrade. Okay, PCV valve in the lifter valley plate thingy. That's interesting. Take this AC wire off. Maybe. Alright, throttle spring. We will go ahead and detach you. I don't know, find a place to lose this now, because that's what we do. I forgot my ratchet. I got my socket though. Start with this alternator bracket. What size are these intake manifold bolts? Are they a 1/2 inch or are they 9/16? Wow, 9/16, huh? Okay. Yeah, 9/16 socket and wrench can do most of the heavy work. Before we get too far into this, I did go ahead and take pictures of absolutely everything, because where I see us having a problem is this throttle linkage. All this magical guru stuff for the 2-barrel, we're gonna have to make us work with a 4-barrel. Some of you are thinking that's not a big deal, but looking at it, I think it could cause some problems. We'll see. Well, thus far, these bolts aren't fighting me as much as I thought they would. You know, it's kind of weird looking at this Pontiac engine, because there's, you kind of have to wonder. Small block Chevys were great, all the way up until they decided to try to do that LT1 monstrosity. An interesting note, you know, then they went to the LS1 and haha, it's basically the new small block Chevy, except it has almost, well, literally nothing in common with the small block Chevy. But you get to looking at this Pontiac, you know, it's got a valley pan. You just tighten the rockers down, you don't have to adjust those. The way the front of the engine is, it almost makes a guy wonder if the small block Chevy and the LS1 aren't cousins. but the Pontiac and the LS1 are cousins. Something to think about. Yeah, I'm hoping to have this done this weekend. But I also got the carburetor off the Shetland. I want to do a half A rebuild on that so it'll quit leaking fuel and maybe start idling. That would be nice. And I want to figure out the electrical on Shetland. And you know, it's pretty crazy. I mean, every day I'm out here working on this stuff. Some of it I get videoed, some of it I don't. But they're all, I mean, every project I do gets pretty ambitious. I know it's hard to see. I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can here. But every project I do, I think gets a little bit more and more ambitious. Who is honking? It is a small town. There are people sleeping. Actually, a lot of farmers around here. I think the only one who sleeps in is me. Okay, let's get this wire off. Well, shoot, apparently it's been running without this doing anything for, well, it's probably been down for half its life, but, well, I guess the plus side made that easier. But do I want to put that back on? Or do I want to actually? I don't know. Ow! Oh, my poor finger. Come on out of there, friend. Let me put you to the side where I'll indefinitely lose you. Okay. Half the alternator bracket. Sha! Sha sha! Pocket sand. Oh, you guys gotta come here. Wow, my hat's just all messed up. There we go. Lipstick on a bulldog. That's what that is. This is actually not some sort of a sensor thingy. It's vacuum. At least it looks like vacuum. Those definitely look like vacuum ports. I've never seen that. That's freaking cool. Assuming that's pretty important. That's sweet. Wow. That is like mechanical linkage bolted to the firing wall here. That's cool. That's actually really neat. Is that a Pontiac thing? Is it a 60s car thing? I don't know. I need more old cars. Damn it. This is going to make me buy more stuff. Because it's getting me even more fascinated. And I thought I couldn't get, oh my gosh, this intake is about ready to come off. Woo! Let's do this. I am sick, but I am motivated. Well, I was taking some stuff out. You might have seen one of my videos recently. I just picked up this ratchet. So she's got about 10 minutes of actual usefulness on her. It's kind of neat because it can flip the head and you lock it. Anyway, I can't decide between, it won't let me go from loosen or tighten anymore. And for basically no discernible reason. Oh, okay, well it's spinning. Ah, there we go. I think our, you know, stuff like this is, you know, in a far land, far, far away, where manufacturing is cheap and labor is cheaper. Probably, maybe it's, you know, got a nick on the gear or something, and, you know, maybe there's not the quality standards that we hold dear. But anyway, well, shoot. it is working now. I guess I'm just going to have to be used to it being stuck. That being said, you get what you pay for. This is, if it was an expensive ratchet, I would be upset. This is a Pittsburgh. If it doesn't work, can you even be upset? And that's the thing about Pittsburgh tools. It's going to be the greatest tool you've ever had your entire life, or it's going to end up in those trees. Wow. These bolts are just breaking right loose. Oh, I need a short rail for that one. Wow. Well, if I was going to show you a video of struggling getting bolts down here for 60 years off, I guess that's not going to happen because, yeah, these are coming off nicely. Let's get this one on this bracket. Yep. Wow. Wow. Do you have knuckle busters, Mr. Pontiac? You are a good motor. Oh, what do we say up there? GM 2-Jet Rochester. You are pretty. You are pretty. You are just too small and too much work for me to make work right. Man, these are even going to come out by hand. That's beautiful. It's like the bolts, almost oily. It's not even. Get another one out. Huh. All right, here we go. Ultimate test on how well these bolts are going to come out, or if anyone's going to fight me. Because some of these we got to get with a wrench. Let's try it. Wow, like a glove. That's crazy. I would have never thought an engine that has sat for this long would just come apart like this. Let's get this front one. That's nuts. That is nuts. I think that means she wants this 4-barrel. My last few items, I've got a bolt that goes through here into the intake, it looks like. It's kind of funny that that's exposed all through here, but it is. Then I've got vacuum line here, vacuum line here. That vacuum line is off. Hopefully I remember that on the way back in. And this one, oh, that vacuum line is off. Well, other than that bolt in the front, I think we're ready to come out of here. That PCV valve there will just lift up. Okay, intake bolts are off. Okay. All right, fuel line. You guys are a friendly crew. Wow. That little 7/16 bolt is fighting me. See, I knew we were getting a little bit too easy. Oh, come on. Might be some PV blaster that needs to happen. Ah, it broke loose. broke loose. Let's see if we can pop it up, maybe. Whoa, ow. That was the elbow. I'm not sure if I'm getting caught on a valve cover. Or it's just kind of sticking in the back. Wow, this is heavy. By comparison, wow. Whew. Well, that's beautiful. Man, just on weight reduction. Just on weight reduction. The aluminum one's worth it. That's crazy. These old gaskets had no sealant or anything on them. But they have seen better days. Anyway, I don't know what that is. Yeah. I don't know. Can somebody tell me? Are these original 1968 gaskets? All right. Well, let's get in here to this valley pan. Let's clean this up as best we can before we put a new intake on there, because that's just terrible. That's no bueno. Important note: we're not going for perfection here. Not at this time. We're just going to get most of this grease and gunk out of here. Get a good gasket surface too. And oh man, that is nasty. And that's what we're going for. We got a lot of crap in there. Still got to clean up the gasket surfaces, but we have cleaned up most of that gunk out of the valley pan, at least for the levels that we are going for today. We got our factory intake and our new intake here. Looks like we can take this fitting out, be able to hook those air nozzles straight over, whatever the hell they all went for. We can also take this temperature out. It's just plugged off on this one, so those will transfer over. Throttle bracket linkage, not so lucky. See if we can break these loose. Maybe. Ooh. This is gonna be fun. All right. So we've removed the old 400, obviously. This is what will be going on it. We already got our PCB valve in. Ended up using a small block Chevy thermostat gasket, which is a little bit bigger, but looks like it'll work. Everything else is on here. I have not made it pretty or anything else. I did get the temperature sender moved over, and I got this vacuum thingy moved over. We've got our ground ran there, and I do have the connector for the electric choke. We will have to find something with 12 volt power when the key is on, but anyway, and we'll have to figure out where we're going to run our... So interesting note here, this gasket isn't going to cooperate with one hand. Fits fine. However, leading theory being that they only wanted to make one gasket. This gasket's obviously not going to work because where the heater hose is at. But if they only made, the longer one, then what we'll do is we'll just have to cut off this excess back here. So I didn't know we were going to have to do that, but I can use our factory gaskets. And this should tell us that all we got to do is cut this last little loop-de-loop off, and this should work just fine. Alright, we'll cut that off. Okay. Matching up with our factory gasket overall now. See if it works. So, with this thing on its side, the block offs that came with the Mr. Gasket are like this, and I could still use those if I was so inclined. But frankly, I'm so disappointed with them. I think I'll go with the Edelbrock, which just goes in there like that. I think we'll go with that. I can see this metal with heat and everything else having some corrosion resistance issues. Plus, it's really thin and cheap. You can even hear it in the sound of it. Whereas I don't know what kind of composite stuff this is made out of, but I felt it before, I can tell you that. I think this is going to hold up better. We're going to go with this. Well, it's time to pop this intake manifold on. And, maybe it'll plop down nicely. I do got to make sure that I get this ring on the intake. I don't know, I got one fuel line, the metal one, might fight me a little bit. Other than that, I don't think I'm going to have too many problems. I guess we'll see. Well, that didn't work. We might have to jack around with this off camera. I don't have long enough arms. Well, like 2 seconds later, it actually went in there. Alright, long story short, getting that intake manifold on there sucked. But it's on now. So, I had to take the valve cover off, move some AC stuff around, fight the gaskets a couple times. It was really hard to get it planted where it needed to be. Not so fun there, but we're getting there. I still got all the bolts are in, they're all snug, but now we got to do the whole torque spec thing as best we can, and I got to get the other valve cover on. So after that, it should be good. We're just going to cut through that, save some time on the video. We've all put valve covers and stuff on before, and I already did that other stuff earlier. Whew! This, yeah. She does look good in there. In the interest of hopefully getting this running tonight, I'm going to use our handy dandy pipe cutter. Nip the end off our fuel line. Which I could always put a flare on and put this fitting back on later if I so chose to. And I get this fuel line hooked up. I'll show you what we're working with now. Got a fuel line. Got to go to here. We got an electric choke wire, which we need a 12-volt power source when the key is on, which I don't know if we're going to find, so we might rotate that. The vacuum advance actually runs into this thing, this fancy little vacuum doohickey that I've never seen before, which we might relocate later. This is some sort of vacuum hose that I would like to put right here on the carburetor. However, this hose ain't long enough. So we're gonna have to figure that out. The throttle linkage is done. The spring's in there, all of that. The radiator hose is back on. All the bolts are tight. I think we're about ready. We're getting there. Let's give it another half hour. We are going to add some of this Marvel mystery oil. And no, I'm not sponsored. So, honestly, I have no idea if it's going to do anything. Unleash engine power. Help extend life. Improve compression power and MPG. Can always use more miles. Make up for that 4-barrel. Lubricates upper cylinder for smoother idling. Keeps engine clean from sludge. We might as well. Oh. Still sick. Still sore. But we think we're ready to fire this up. I think. So I got the gas can. I'm gonna run this hose in it. I'm gonna double check a few things first, but I think this thing is ready to have its first real run. I mean, we verified the engine wasn't locked up. We verified it wants to run on that crappy carburetor. But we gotta do the first real run. Actually running. I'm gonna check the fluids. We got this. So it is about 7 o'clock, so we've been at this about 9 hours. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'd say all things considered, we did okay. But yeah, let's go check these fluids. Let's make sure we got coolant, and I got a fuel filter in here. Oh my gosh, I watched that show too much. Anyway, I got a fuel filter. It's in there. We got everything. We got everything we need. It's either gonna run or it's not, right? Let's do this. All right. Let's bring the rain. Let's do it. I'll hit it with a little bit of starting fluid.